Hello everyone. Namaste from India. Today I'll answer a few questions about shamanism which I'm asked frequently. I am Arundhati, a shamanic healer. I'm now not a real shaman, but I have learned shamanic techniques and shamanic healing so I can use the processes of shamans to heal. Yeah, we'll come to that. What I do, we'll come to that later in some other video. But today we'll talk about shamans. Now, shamans, who are shamans? Shamans, I'll say, exist in each and every culture. Shamans are defined as walker of the between worlds, a person who lives in the world of the living, in the visible and ordinary world, and also can go to the parallel worlds, the astral realms at will. This person is a shaman. Now, before understanding what is a shaman, we have to understand one thing, a belief of shamanism all around the world. There is this single belief that each and everything has a spirit or a spirit imprint. So, if we are looking at a parallel world, let's say these are planes, there is this ordinary plane of existence, and parallel to this, there is the astral or the spirit plane of existence. Now, what I learned, the modality I learned was Siberian shamanism. In Siberian shamanism, we believe in three worlds. There is the lower world, there is the upper world, and there is the middle world. Now, the upper world is the world of gods. When we travel to the upper world, sometimes we meet God entities of our world, God entities that we have a connection with in our world. And sometimes we meet whoever comes for the healing. Now there is the lower world, which is the world of ancestors and everything that has been. This world also houses the souls of plants and animals. So, a lot of plant based healing, like if I want to know what specific plant will heal a disease or a condition, I can go to the lower world and ask for help. Yes. And then there is the middle world. The middle world is the parallel world of our world. So when we travel into the middle world, we see our lives as it is going on, and with this, we also see the invisible parts of our lives. So, suppose a person is not getting a job for a long time, a suitable job, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 5 years. This person has never got a good job. The person also is not well, and there are other ailments, lots of ailments in this person's life. So, what we start seeing when we go to the middle world sometimes, I know a lot of you are thinking whether we start seeing curses and hexes, because I see a lot of people ask me these questions. How will I know if somebody has hexed me? How will I know if somebody has cursed me? Well, in my experience, more than hexes and curses, I have seen ancestral baggage. And I've also seen lost souls. The lost souls may be in the family tree. Somebody who died and could not be released totally. So that person's energy lingers. And sometimes there are, other spirit influences, like somebody moves to a new home or an old home, and there is some spirit of the region that is affecting everybody there. So when such things happen, when there is some spirit entities, or sometimes, yes, there are curses and hexes too, uh, it's not always an elaborate curse. It's not that some witch, dug around a cauldron and made a curse and something and sent it to a person. That also happens, but that is quite rare. What happens more often is a very pained, hurt individual curses in great sadness. And these are some of the most powerful curses I've seen. So when we go to the middle world, we start seeing these things like the energy of the negative energy that is stopping this person. Sometimes we see these as forms, and sometimes we see these as entities, and we can communicate with them. But you can never predict how they will show themselves to you. So if you see, shamanism actually heals what kind of patients? Patients that have problems that are not well defined. A person feels uneasy that something is wrong with me. I have all these mystery illnesses. The doctor cannot say what it is, but it keeps happening every time. Or an illness that returns every time, an infection that returns every time. Medically, you will of course say the organ is weak. Yes, after a bad jaundice, your liver can become weak and susceptible to infections after that. That is true. But it can also be healed energetically. I mean, there are real powerful healers. I have heard of healers who can just heal by saying that you are healed. So, and I have been in the presence of such powerful healers. So I totally believe this. Now, shamans, I hope you understood, are people who work with the seen and unseen realms. The ones who work with the seen and unseen worlds. Now, shamans have existed in almost all cultures of the world since whenever nature worship started, and people started going into trances out of their own free will, not a trance that happened suddenly. A lot of you may have experienced trances when you are doing meditation or saying a certain mantra. Sometimes you go into a dream state when you chant the mantra for this third time, and sometimes it happens when you chant the mantra for the 30th time. Now, that is going into a trance world, but that is not exactly at will. What a shaman does is go to a trance world, a parallel world, at will. I need to go right now. I need to find the solution right now. So I go to the parallel world right now and try to find the solution. So if you ask me, a lot of people ask me if there are shamans in Indian culture. Of course there are. Because I have seen a lot of people who are very closely related with deities and who have spent their whole lives communicating with certain gods and goddesses and their helpers, their spiritual helpers. I've seen these people, they have certain powers. Some of them have the power of vision. So the moment they see you, they start telling you what's wrong and what problem you're having, what is the cause. Sometimes they can just heal you by saying. But you have to understand these people are working with the spirit world and with the ordinary world. And that is how they are shamans. So now I think a lot of you who are Indians, you're thinking, okay, so a shaman is a kind of a tantric. Well, not always. Tantra is very much in Hindu culture, and somebody who has learned shamanism from that has been brought down from Siberia or from Native Americans, you know, they may not necessarily be tantrics. Okay, so I also get a question where people ask, where did it originate? Where did shamanism originate? Now, Shamanism, I said, originated, let's say, everywhere. Shamanism is the oldest of religions, the oldest of healings, and most of it has been lost around the world. Only a few traditions are still ongoing, like the Siberian shamanism. Now, I'll talk about who can learn shamanic healing. A lot of people ask me who can learn shamanic healing. Well, actually, yeah, anybody. Pretty much anybody can learn shamanic healing. Some people say you have to have specific gifts and all. No. But you have to have certain qualities. When you have these qualities, you can learn shamanism. And another very important requirement is that the teacher has to choose you. Like my teacher, he chose me. Don't think I learned for free. I paid a huge amount of money to learn shamanic healing. But still, my teacher got to know about me and asked the spirits if this person is right to pass on the knowledge to. And then, when he got an okay, he got me. A lot of his students have wanted to learn shamanism, but for some, it was not the right time. And some people did not have the right set of mind. But whatever you say, I think it's only about the right time. Like if I had a small kid, my teacher would not teach me. That's what he said, that if you had a child, I couldn't teach you this. Because in the beginning, you will be carrying around so many different kinds of energies that you will be dangerous to be around. So if you're not living alone, I wouldn't teach you. At that time, I was luckily living alone. At that time, I was luckily feeling this urge for shamanism and I wanted to learn, and I was almost about to enroll for an online course when in like within 2 or 3 days I got a signal from my spirit animal. My spirit connected with me in the ordinary world, and I got a message from a friend. He said that this teacher is going to teach shamanism. But of course, I had to send him my details first, and he had to decide whether he would teach me. So, yes, anybody can learn shamanism. And one more thing I learned after I got into healing is that the human body has rave abilities. We hardly use them, but we can develop our intuition. We can develop our ability to see auras. We can develop our abilities to see the energy of chakras. It's all in our hands. We just have to put in the work. So I hope my video helped you and was interesting for you. Have a nice day. Thank you so much for watching. Namaste.